And they'll need to be at their best today. Identical twin brother in Tyrone, who'll come off the bench. On tackle number 5 playing it. Gamble with the first kick.
This afternoon, great battle between the two number ones.
He always does, and from just outside the 20, they will begin, and we'll go down through there. 6 again called, though, just outside the 4, puts it down, and that has been happening just far too much.
Counter-attack immediately.
And now the Sharks' turn. Comes out to Teague Wilton. Good tackle there by Pierce Paul.
Strange. A lack of enthusiasm from Cronulla out on that right.
Kennedy will bring it back. He beat the tackle there of Croker. Not that of... On his left-hand side, they'll have one more play.
A penalty away. Just Newcastle ball run there. Just
Sharks to score first points here as Fonua Blake plays it. For a long time. The Rabbitohs and the Sharks. Brayley
stayed on his wing and allowed Gagai to make the tackle on Harodi.
Good side of McDonald Jones Stadium, and the Sharks to work it off there, off the shoulder of Gagai. Solid effort. Penalised. Some silly stuff early in this game. They'll play it. 2 more in this set remaining. Fonua Blake for high. And now Sharp will make it 3 in a row for dummy half run. Helping out the early tackles. Now they jump the gun again. The win all the same. 3 wins and 3 losses. Good defence by the Knights, though. Gagai under pressure eventually.
To run. Phoenix Crossland off the line very quickly to put into a position to receive the pass. And off the back of the pen, up out of the line and not make the stop. Or assume that something's going to happen.
The Eels, Samoan international giving the Sharkies good service.
Kalyn Ponga, a physical mismatch there after the defensive to Kaufusi.
They'd be happy with that, the Sharks, although Marju's run for the kick here. They're well short of halfway. What a player he is, Fletcher Sharp, and you just watch the movement there, incredible. And nothing wrong with that plan.
Camera here, anticipating there's going to be an ocean made.
Appeals immediately, Nico Hines.
Again, in attack.
Yeah, it says, by the stats, it says 2.
Into Hines. Now Kaufusi. It's towards the line for Trindle. Normally it's the Nickera line, but it was Trindle.
Trindle went awfully close. It was Phoenix Crossland and Kalyn Ponga that did.
In Fonua Blake off the back of Kaufusi, who looked likely to score. The Knights looking like they had scored, denied by the...
A great start from Cronulla. 12-0 lead.
As Gagai got to him with Leo Thompson. Now, he had Schiller pushing up in support. He hung on to it. The right-hand side. Gamble feigned a kick and then second guess.
You know, they've got a chance of scoring a try if they do more of that.
3 games, you need to take every chance you've got. Harodi, who was sweeping, touched by the Knights. This is 6 more.
Kaufusi getting the ball on the ground. He went awfully close, but...
Make the leap that actually touched the turf. All those up their sleeve right here. Brayley for Trindle. Comes out to Kennedy.
0. The pass out wide from Trindle to Kennedy.
13 tries now in the juggling acts with Katoa returning. The happy knack of grabbing them in bunches, and he's on the board here already. For McGuinness. Towards high Pierce Paul. Back at speed. Nickera under pressure there, so was Hyde off the field. Back here defending on the left again, now and off.
The error to be made.
30-9 as far as Kennedy puts it down. It was just to emphasise that stat you saw on screen. Comfortably brings it down, having a very good made the mistake, which gives the Knights a chance to maybe finally something to get them into the game here. To make a bit of Thompson plays it. Gamble, short ball here. Jones.
Well, if you're going to fly out of the line like Teague Wilton did, you've got to make the tackle. And
it's a head class for what you're going to get jammed in, so you have a duty of care to avoid any.
The opening to the season through injury. Now, it was almost like a rare try in this last month of football for the Knights. Phoenix Crossland, who ran a line, is on the ground.
To come up with some points, they just had to, and they had to give it to this man, Kalyn Ponga. It's by the referee, who made the right calls. I don't know.
Bradman Best and Marju, speaking of strong.
Marju, but there's chaos aside from the try. Phoenix Crossland forced
there. Crossland being helped from the field. He won't be back. Up, pushing up. Great line speed, the Sharks.
Goes into this Knights defensive line. Because the Sharks...
Hines puts it in the air. Marju up against the sideline. Opening half. Ponga in the short.
Here's...
The inside for Talakai, who's playing a middle third. Trindle, cutout ball. Harotti, and again.
Your arm can get stuck in a position like that. And I thought he...
Crossland, despite being unable to bear weight for so long, by the time he got to the tunnel, he was...
To get to Trindle to shut things down there for the Sharks. Still Nickera, he'll just run it. Pops it out the back. Kennedy under...
Well, he wanted to tip it on, but he looked a little unsure of himself to catch it and move it on. I guess that was part of...
Strong carries on that angled run. Hines towards the side. Pretty dearly. I wonder if they'll go away from the season already played in 2025. In 2025, we're back underway. Kalen Ponga with the kick for the moment to an ankle problem towards the back end of the first. Marju with a carry. Strong runs in that kick. So looks a little rusty with his handling and his kicking.
Discipline coming out of our own end has to be better. Go after the game instead.
But Schiller does well. And now a little bit of adventure. Thompson, he comes across to Brodie Jones. So they've gone left. Stone Street plays it here. Now Rainier. Cut out ball. Spinning. Harotti goes very close. Badly here around the eyebrow. Look at that one.
And straightening things up in and around the ruck. Just threw a dummy and...
Harotti. So he beats Gagai and then Schiller is there.
10 minutes.
After side here for Britton Nickera. For Stone Street, who's a great leaper. Oh, boy, they bombed.
A 22-4 lead. I thought Nico Hines, he's been...
Ball in their hands, and they still concede point.
Mates, but hit Jesse Ramian on the chest. This week, when they got beaten by the Tigers and scored late in the game almost.
The crowd was, they came here wanting to make some noise, willing their team.
Just need to find a way to limit the damage here. Replay the ball. Bailey jumps out, gets them on the front foot. Just waited for the bounce, comes up with the chockies.
Ball gets in between Bradman Best, Fletcher Sharp, and
it up so nicely. Saw Kennedy pushing up in support, knew there was nobody at home. Still got the best part of 5 minutes, but they're down to 12 men.
Yeah, well,
24 with that late burst again, as they did the previous season.
Forward with Harotti, and it's Gamble who makes
some stopping. Rookie McEwen under pressure there, did well in the end.
Coming back down that short side and would throw a cutout pass to try and catch him.
Hines on the angle for Wilton. Good tackle there.
A couple of... Oh, he's dropped that. He's dropped it.
In McEwen.
I think a drop ball was the only way that was going to stop.
The West Tigers have been in the news yet again all week. Said it. I don't know. James Schiller, wrong Pierce ball. They've been at odds throughout the game, haven't they?
From the Newcastle Knights, decoy runners running into the
Roosters. Nice memory back to some games we called brandish, and watching the Knights go around again like this. They can't. Beyond that, against the Bulldogs and also the Raiders, that tight affair with the Raiders.
I don't know if he lost his legs. He certainly...
He got the try scoring going, and he scored for Newell. Atkinson, Trindle out the back, Nickera, Stones.
That Newcastle defensive line get over. Try good footwork there from Marge.
More than flat there from Gamble. Across to Matt Croker, who's back on deck.
Big play from Nico. He gets over his hands, outstretched hand.
Can't fault his effort here this afternoon. They're 10 short. Is the one try in the game for the Knights. Pass straight to Sam Stone Street.
And it's what the
Green. See if there was a replay of that situation there. And it's all just very much in one direction. From the play the ball at Kitcher, it was a point-blank pass. One more play from the middle of the Tigers next week. Sunday afternoon affair.
The fourth game will make it 4 games they've scored 3 tries now.
2004 for a team through 6 games who will have scored this on full-time here in Newcastle. Ramian. Marju back to Ponga. who has it for the Knights, seems to beat him and then get in behind the front line. The foot to Sharp. You play halfback. But Tyson Gamble go to 5'8". Just really put their foot here to the met from just outside the 10. Goes back to Wilton. Big boys for the moment. And now Hines out the back. Kennedy.
Next game against the Warriors in Christchurch on Anzac Day.
Thompson still out there.
Decision of a knock-on which goes into the Newcastle, the Cronulla defender.
Dane Gagai knocks the ball forward into the Cronulla Sharks' arm.
Shutting the Knights down, but the Knights have to have plan B.
Hines, Nickera. Best came up very.
Why offer an opportunity for a 7-tackle set?
0 and 4 in their last 3 games. Loomed up in Sharp. And perhaps with a conversion to come, they...
Of Cronulla defenders, one being Nico Hines. He beat 7 tackles in that.
Warren, what can the Knights salvage in the last 8?
The Tigers in particular, if they lose to suffered earlier on in the game, a collision with Teague.
Creighton gets an offload away, as he can.
It'll be fascinating to see what happens. You're right. Here's Hines. He chips it towards the corner. After the Sharks ended up with possession, one
experience, and the fact that he's been able to do it over a number of years.
Was 2023 to emphasise the point that his chance in the competition, but the second best defence. They there by Piers Paul. A game of volleyball for a moment. All they needed was the net. And then again, ball put down here.
I think just a little thumb.
Sharp was just trying to get back. The Sydney Roosters. By Sheila and then Fanua Blake trailing across to make a 2015 grand final. A kick-off. Ball put down by Ben Hartley today. Here's Gamble. Hands it off. That's at least something different for the Knights. And now Gagai, he beats her. But a little switch of attack is all it took to upset the rhythm of the...
Against a Knights defensive line that was set and ready to go forward.
Greg Marzu, try scorers, the wingers. The 3 tries they... Gamble it is. Well, Kennedy puts the brakes on. And here they are at the end as they did.
His side, really, they can't dig themselves out of this attacking hole.